Reactin kinase MB, CKMP. Kinase is ASE means enzyme, and reactin kinase is a kind of enzyme. Enzyme is in the heart muscle cell, so when there is damage to the heart muscle cell, the level of this enzyme will increase in the bloodstream. And reactin kinase MP, CKMP, is a kind of enzyme released in increased amounts from the cardiac muscle cells following myocardial infarction and MIs. So in myocardial infarction, irreversible situations happening to the heart muscle cells, and the doctors or technician can withdraw a sample of blood to trace to measure the level of reactin kinase MP, and we call the serum assays. The serum assays help diagnose MA, and based on the concentration of reactin kinase in the blood, the doctor cardiologist can determine the extent of muscle damage to the heart muscle in myocardial infarction. CT angiography, CTA, what does it mean? It's a computed tomography scan used to visualize the vessel in the heart and other organs. In performance of CT angiography, CTA, the procedure requires only a small amount of dye injected into the arm, and this imaging technique can rule out blocked coronary arteries that may cause myocardial infarction or heart attack in people with chest pain or abnormal stress tests. CT angiography is a less invasive technique, and the patient exposed to the X-ray in a minimal dose. Defibrillation, the procedure to defibrillate the heart in case the heart is in fibrillation, atrioventricular fibrillation, and defibrillation is the process of using of the electronic device, defibrillator, to stop fibrillation by delivering brief electric shock to the heart. The shock of the defibrillation may be delivered to the surface of the chest by automatic external defibrillator directly into the heart through a wireless using implantable cardioverter defibrillator. So we indicate defibrillation with deliver to the surface of the heart in case of dysrhythmia or arrhythmia, and supraventricular dysrhythmia, as can save the patient life, because in fibrillation the heart thrivels and pumps ineffectually, so the muscle tissue and organ system deprive of oxygen supply. Echocardiography. Echo means sound, cardio means heart, and raphy is a process of recording. So echocardiography is a process of recording the image of the cardium and the blood vessel by sound wave. And echocardiography method non-invasive, using ultrasound to visualize internal cardiac structures. So it's non-invasive, and in clinical settings, the doctors indicate echocardiography to visualize internal structure of the heart and the other organs, ray, blood vessel, aortas, pulmonary arteries, and sometimes with echocardiography, the technician can evaluate the shock volume or the ejection fraction of the heart to evaluate the effectiveness of the heart pumping. Lipoprotein. Lipo means the heart, the lipid, plastic tissue protein. So lipoprotein is a compound. Compound consists of two components, lipid and protein. And reliable routines are classified according to the density. So we have the very low density VLDL, low density LDL, and high density HDL. And when we had result of label routine perturbation, that the relatively higher levels of HDLs have been correlated with the cardiovascular health. So HDL is a good cholesterol, and VLDLs are very bad for the cardiovascular system. Percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty (PTCA). Percutaneous means through the skin of the patient, and transluminal passage through the lumen of the coronary artery. It is a procedure in which the cardiologist must thread a catheter with a balloon at the tip of the catheter past obstructed site or arteriomer, and then he or she inflates a balloon to broaden the arteriomatous plaque, and then he or she will install the stent to keep the blood open and restore the blood flow downstream the arterioma. And the process of dilatation of sclerotic blood vessel by means of balloon catheter, and this catheter is inserted into the vessel and then inflated to broaden the plaque against the arterial wall, and to restore the lumen blood flow downstream to supply the heart muscle beyond the obstructed site. Percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty, a procedure with less invasive characteristic. A stent. We can leave the stent inside the patient several months or even 1 year or 2 years, but we cannot leave the catheter inside the patient because the stent on the foreign objects, but can be left inside the patient without complication. But the catheter, for example, Foley catheter, the doctors insert the Foley catheter into the urinary bladder and leave it for 1 week or 2 weeks maximally. This is a stent. So what is a stent? A stent is a medical device, metal device in the shape of the coil or slotted tube, and inserted inside the blood vessel to keep the blood vessel open. So small metal device in the shape of a coil or slotted tube that is inserted inside the artery to keep the vessel open after balloon angioplasty. While we install the stent at the site of obstructed, because after we remove the catheter, and the obstruction of your relapse reduction will narrow the blood flow downstream the obstructed site. So we need a stent to make the blood vessel open to prevent recurrence of obstructed blood flow.